We are well and truly into the Easter weekend. Welcome to the Gallop TV Preview Show for the 8-race program at Turffontein on the Standside track, Saturday the 19th of April. As you know, we record the day before, so we're recording early doors on Good Friday morning, and on the line is Alistair Cohen. An opportunity to wish all of you, including Alistair Cohen, a very happy Easter weekend. Alistair, how are you doing, and where does this call find you?
Yeah, good morning, Graham. Good morning to all the racing fans and to all the viewers. Happy Easter to all of our racing fans who celebrates. It's obviously a nice long weekend. You find me in a gloomy Johannesburg on this Friday morning. No rain at the moment. In fact, a very little rain forecast going into this meeting, so I don't foresee any issues. But the t-shirts and shorts weather's definitely out the window now in Joburg. So I think winter's well and truly on the way. We're just a week out from the final day of the Championships and 2 weeks out from the start of champion season, so really looking forward to it all. We've finally got into a racing routine over the last few days with 10 races plus 10 races plus 10 races plus 11 races thus far, 9 on Friday at Fairview, so we're into the swing of things. But then 8 on this card at Turffontein, which I don't quite mind. Generally you'd find the week before a race meeting with a whole lot of group races that you'll get almost a calm before the storm. I think that's pretty much the case, but still a few horses that have been on my radar of late.
I'm glad to hear there'll be no interruption as far as rain is concerned. As I said, we record this on a Friday morning, so I was driving through from Umhlanga to Greyville to the studio, and I drove through a torrential storm. So after a pretty clear day in Durban on Thursday, hopes were rising that racing over the weekend wouldn't be interrupted. But this morning there was a huge storm over Greyville. But fortunately, the forecast from about midday today on Friday, Good Friday the 18th, through to Sunday for the postponed meeting, that forecast does look good. Hopefully we can trust it. But enough of all of that. Let's get into this 8-race program. It all opens up with the maiden juvenile plate for fillies over 1,000 metres. The betting, top of the boards, the newcomer from the Sean Tarry stable, number 7, Mystical Miss, at 22 to 10. Money around for that one. Number 2, Far Beyond, 28 to 10. Then number 11, Versace on the track, is at 33 to 10. Number 6, Jazz Pianist, 6 to 1. 9, Queen's Pact is 7 to 1. Those are the runners quoted in single figures for this maiden juvenile plate for fillies over 1,000 metres, which obviously being an 8-race program opens up the bipod at 12:40. Alistair, first, before we get into the first timer, number 2, Far Beyond, clearly bred to appreciate a bit further, but that debut performance behind Miss Novak's, that drama-filled race, that's already produced 2 winners in the form of Red Amber and Captain Selby.
And they ran either side of Far Beyond on that occasion, Graham. I mean, you would have been forgiven for thinking, well, on such a muddy track where racing was called off after that race, that maybe the form line could be quite deceptive, but it's deceptive is the wrong word. It's incredibly strong with 3 runners straight out of the form. Red Amber, a ready winner on Thursday at the Val. Captain Salvia, a good winner on Tuesday at the Val, the half-sister to Almond C and Sarah. And then the 5th horse, Bold Action, coming out and running second behind a very nice horse trained by Alec Laird in the form of Ideal Summer on Tuesday. So all of that is stacking up very, very promisingly indeed. So Miss Novak, who came in for support and winning on that occasion, she'll be interesting going forward, trained by her Lucky Hoodalakis. Plus, we also got the dynamic of a 2.5 kilo claim, experience under the belt, and drawn 11 out of 11 down the Turffontein Standside straight. There's a lot to like about this daughter of Futura, despite your valid observation that being by Futura out of a Master My Fate mare, that there should be a bit of stamina there. These first-timers, well, the 3 first-timers that are in the market, definitely jump off the page as far as genetics are concerned, but I think they'll have to be of quite a good quality to turn over number 2, Far Beyond. So it is the opening leg of the bipod, and I'd monitor the market just to see which of these first-timers come in for most support come race time, just before striking my bipod. My suggested bet is the pick 6. We'll get to that in just a moment. At the time of recording, I'd probably lean towards the Tarry first timer. Number 7, Mystical Miss, is probably the one that interests me most. Craig Zaki takes her out for Sean Tarry. Sean was quiet in the second half of 2024, but he's banging form now. I know that he's got a ton of 2-year-olds back at home, of which I'm sure plenty can run. I'm sure some can't. Hopefully for the connections, this can. There was a half sibling sold at the national sales last week by Canford Cliffs, who fetched a big price as well. So just remembering how that looks, maybe number 7 Mystical Miss also has some athletic attributes about her. So like I said, they'll have to be good to beat this first timer number 2 Far Beyond with the form lines that she brings into the picture. But if there is a follow through in the market about one of these 3 well-bred first timers, 6, 7 and 11, then I'd back up the experience with one of those.
So there we go, the bipod underway with race 1. We will get underway with the place accumulator, race 2, 13-15. Again, it's a maiden juvenile plate. It's over 1,000 metres. Number 3, Scorpio, short-priced favourite at 14-10. Again, a number of well-bred first-timers, including number 2, 1 Tiger from the Azzy team. That is at 3-1. Number 9, Spiritrix, first timer by Versing Getterix from the Van Vuren yard. That's at 9-2. And number 7, Opera Fan, who does bring some form into the race, is at 11-2. So those are the 4 runners in this 9-horse lineup. There were no changes whatsoever at the time of recording as far as scratching or equipment changes were concerned. There are a couple of form updates, which we'll get to in a moment. Scorpio and Opera Fan, they bring experience into the race, Alistair.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what to make of their form lines, to be honest, Graham. Let's start with Scorpio. It's not really the speed way to get a horse started in an 800-metre race and then race them for over 100 days. Glastonbury, who won that race, has obviously come out and done some good things. Second horse, Caroline Island. Third horse, Arashi. They've all done some business. Tenjiku, who ran in behind Scorpio, has come out and won. That looks mighty progressive, trained by Alec Laird. There are a few others as well. There's even Porridge Boy, who Mano Pandaram has travelled all around the country, who is in and around. But overall, that first juvenile race, you're always sort of a little bit dicey about how everything's going to work out. Very well-bred son of Give Me the Green Light out of the very well-performed She's a Giver, who ran the blue and black silks. Marco van Rensburg takes her out for Corne Spies. I suppose that's enough of a good forward debut run to suggest that he's worth following and not one to write off. But I'm very interested in 3 first timers here. I want to start with the 2 that run the Verner's colours, 8 Raceway and 9 Spiritrix. The Whisper is that they're not too bad. So watch out for both of them. Spiritrix's half sibling was sold at the CRS Premier Sale just over a month ago, called Apparition, and the Verners went back and spent quite a bit of money to acquire the sibling. And then Raceway also had a sibling on a sale as well, and this daughter of New Predator, trained by Fani Bronkhorst. If you think back to Pure Predator, who was also trained by Fani, started his career with a bang when totally under the radar, stayed on very strongly and looked the part when running on the way that he did. So just sort of adding 2 and 2 together, not necessarily getting 4, they could be nice horses to include into your top 3, into your swinger type of plays. And then the other first timer that I think probably is the one worth watching most is number 2, 1 Tiger. He was quoted to run about 10 days ago at a meeting that was sadly cancelled. There was more than just a whisper out about the son of One World. Craig Zaki takes her out for the Azzies. Azzies are known to get them ready first time when they're good enough. So 1 Tiger for me is the first timer worth watching the most. So it's an open start to the place accumulator, in that there are a lot of moving parts that we don't know too much about, but I'm inclined to lean towards a first timer possibly winning the race, Graham.
That won't be impossible. As you say, Scorpio hasn't run since the 30th of November, so his well-being will come under scrutiny. Again, as far as the place accumulator is concerned, you have the opportunity to monitor the betting right up until race time before finalising your place accumulator perms. Of course, as far as the bipod is concerned, you don't have that luxury in this, the first leg of the place accumulator. So you're going to have to feel your way through the second leg of the bipod. Perhaps, as you've heard from Alice, include the Azzy first timer, whispers around, include number 2, 1 Tiger, and perhaps both of the race runners, because the experience does count for a lot. But as you heard earlier, Alistair's bet of choice in this meeting is the pick 6. Is venturing into the big time territory, and the pick 6 action gets underway with race 3 at 10 minutes to 2. It's a juvenile plate over 1,400 metres, so it's a race that caters for winners, newcomers, placed horses, maidens, etc. And it's one of the winners in the race. Number 1, read all about it, Richard Ferree in town to ride for his sponsors Ridgemont for the De Kock team. That's firm in the market at around even money. Number 2, Crystal Grove, is at 33-10. 4 Red Penny, 4-1, and 5 Sister Golden Hair at 9-2. That was a 5-length winner of a last start, the daughter of Captain of All. They go 1,400 metres around the corner. It's the opening leg of the pick six. Take us through it, Alistair.
Yeah, Graham, nice race this. I'm excited to see Read All About It stepping up in distance. Piccadilly Miss ran in Kevin Hunter's colours, and she was an out-and-out sprinter. But judging by what I've heard and what I've seen from the Hawams, this is one of the first to sort of stretch his legs a little bit over a trip, and I think that could very well suit. His debut win was good. Again, sort of the opposition got to come under the spotlight. Has been a direct winner from that form line, in the form of Mr. Wilson, who doesn't look all that bad. But then the second start, he was just run off his feet in a minor feature, and I'd like to believe that he's a good deal better than that. Richard Free's obviously obliged when he can to come up and ride for his sponsors, Richmond, so don't be swayed into thinking that that's a tip in itself. Mind you, it's obviously no issue whatsoever. No one would be against having Richard on that horse. So number one, Read All About It, for me, is just the most interesting horse in the race, just to see how he acquits himself over 1,400 metres. I have an inkling that he'll acquit himself well, and I think he's the horse that they all need to beat. But I've got two pieces of backup here, Graham, in the form of numbers 2 and 5, Crystal Grove and Sister Golden Hair. Let's start with number 2, Crystal Grove. The second one was disappointing behind King Harold. King Harold came out and ran in the nursery. He was desperately unlucky in the nursery. He's valued to be much closer to the winner that was trained by Sean Terry on that occasion. I thought her debut win was good. Not much as far as the form line is concerned, but all she could do was win. She sliced through them, and I think the step up in distance is bound to suit number 2, Crystal Grove, as well. And then number 5, Sister Golden Hair, coming along the right way. Never looked in doubt last time when given a soft lead. I know that the second and third horses are held in higher regard, and Sister Golden Hair firmly put them into that place. So I think she's a runner as well. She's coming along the right way, and she could just be sort of still ahead of the curve and have a little bit more to come, judging by how her career is going. Not too sure how Red Penny's above Sister Golden Hair in the market, considering Crystal Grove has got him stone cold and also trying this trip for the first time. Red Penny's mother is related to Sing for Rafa and all those sprinters that Cornet Speech train, so I've got a big question mark against the stamina, and I don't think there's too much else going for the other 3 runners in the race. So 1, 2 and 5 comfortable with in the first leg of the pick 6, and it's a late start on the pick 6 as well, so you've got a bit of time to engage your mind.
Race 4, which is obviously the second leg of the pick 6, but just as importantly, the first leg of Jackpot 1. It's an MR80 handicap over 2,850 metres. Only 9 horses in the field, but it's highly competitive, as evidenced by Alistair's choices in the second leg of the pick 6. But before we get his comment, let's go through the market. Number 1, To The Rescue, 2-1. Number 2, Romeo's Magic, 7-2. Number 6, Rosie Lemon, 4-1. Number 8, Moment, 9-2. And 9, Nuclear Force at 7-1. The balance of this field, all quoted in double figures. Clearly, it's a complicated race, Alistair.
And I'll tell you why it's complicated, Graham, is because of the dynamics of the pace here. To The Rescue, when he gets a soft and easy lead, he's a very difficult horse to get past. But we've also got number 8, Moment, who went like a bat out of hell last time on the inside track over 2,600 metres, and never looked in doubt and received probably a warranted £7 penalty for that. So I reckon there's not going to be any hanging around, and despite the fact that you can look at those 2 horses favourably and they in my pick 6 for obvious reasons, it might open up for something quickening from off the pace, so it's a bit of a head scratcher. The horse that I want to kick off with, and the horse that I'm possibly going to tip on top, is number 2, Romeo's Magic. Diego de Gouveia takes her out for Brett Warren. Since Brett's taken this horse to 1.5 miles plus, he's turned the corner again. The 7-year-old looking for his 10th career win. He looked firmly in his place off a 70, off a 69, trying those middle distance and stretching to 2,000 metres. He wasn't quite getting the job done. And then all of a sudden, Brett took the gamble, tried him over a trip, and since going 1.5 miles in his last 4 starts, run 4th, 4th and 1st, including the 4th behind Poplar Park, who came out and won the Ormond Ferraris Oaks trial when he also tried blinkers, and I said they were quickly removed, and he bounced back with a win. He beat To The Rescue by 2.5 lengths last time out. He meets To The Rescue on slightly worse terms, but it's probably enough to at least hold some sort of advantage. So number 2, Romeo's Magic, tip of the hat to Brett Warren. He's done wonders with this horse, and he's an automatic inclusion. Again, wherever Romeo's Magic is, number 1 to the rescue ought to be in. Will the race be run to suit? I don't know, but Cabello does get a tune out of the son of Gimme the Green Light. He's also found himself in some sort of racing routine. He was nominated to the rescue for the Gold Bowl next week, which I thought was quite interesting. I highly doubt he's going to run because he's miles under sufferance, but if Sean's thinking Gold Bowl with to the rescue, then I suppose he couldn't be out of place in a long-distance race of this nature. The other 3 horses that I've got in, number 6, Rosie Lemon. Graham, I must confess, I don't particularly love Rosie Lemon in this race, but I'm going to back up with my thoughts that I had about her also in a bandit meeting a couple of weeks ago. I liked her to kill a couple of weeks ago, but sadly that meeting didn't happen. So I'm going to stay on side because I'll kick myself if she did arrive and I left her out. I have huge queries about her over this 2,850 meter distance. She hasn't won in a while, although that was the case still about 2 weeks ago. But just simply out of instinct and avoiding some egg on my face, I put her in. And then the 2 bottom weights, 8 Moment, if he is in the same mood as he was last time, he could be difficult to peg back, and then Nuclear Force ought to finish a little bit closer, although the race might be suited best to number 9 Nuclear Force. He's not the best coming out of the stalls, but if they go mad up front, which is a distinct possibility, it could suit a closer like number 9 Nuclear Force, but just make sure he's in everything.
So there we go, a very competitive MR80 handicap race for over 2,850 metres. And in many of these races, as you heard there from Alistair, tactics can often determine the outcome. Now race 5, which is also the first leg of Jackpot 2 and the first of 2 apprentice handicaps on this card. It's an MR84 apprentice handicap over 2,000 metres. Race 5 goes at 3 o'clock. Again, it's a smallish field. Doesn't make matters necessarily any less complicated. Number 1 Birthright is at 8-1. 2 DJ Junior at 7-2. Number 3 Diesel Shadow is at 4-1. Top of the boards is number 4 Dark Silver. There has been a little bit of anti-post support for number 4 Dark Silver into 22-10. 5 Hearts on Fire 6-1. 6 Arlington Action at 7-1. So those are the runners quoted in single figures. The form update is for number 8 Circle of Grace. Ran on the 15th, ran 14th, nearly 20 lengths behind Eiffel Tower. So certainly not a good run, but for the services of JC Boertes, we'll only have 48.5 to carry. I've seen your pick 6. I'm not going to give it away, but I noticed that you're focusing on 2 runners.
I don't know if I'm being too clever for my boots here, but I'm quite comfortable with these 2 horses. But in an apprentice handicap, who knows? I'll tell you what my line of thinking is here. Which apprentices know their way around Turffontein standside track? James De Harbour does, Garish Samabertia does, Niven Nastili does. The rest based either in Cape Town or in Johannesburg might have had the odd spin around Turffontein standside, but they certainly haven't been around in the double figures, if that makes any sense. So I think that could be some sort of an advantage. Plus, and I know that rating horses retrospectively, so I'm using Solar Sail and Immediate Edge as my 2 arguments here, is a very dangerous thing to do. But still, if Immediate Edge is rated plus 100 and Solar Sail got nearly a record-breaking penalty for running such a good race in the South African Derby at the end of last month, then number 4 Dark Silver must be pretty well set up to run a huge race here with 53 kilos on the back, plus also Garish Samabertia being based up on the half field. I'm pretty sure Alec Laird would have not twisted his arm, would have forced him to come and throw a leg over number 4 Dark Silver in the lead up to this race. So I think all that probably stacks up quite nicely. Not surprised to see him fairly short in the market and attracting a little bit of support. The run to Immediate Edge, although Immediate Edge ran below par in the South African Derby, that's seen winners come out of it, including Immediate Edge and Diesel Shadow, plus a whole lot of place getters in behind as well, with the likes of Quartermain being tested at group level subsequently. So I think for all those reasons, number 4 Dark Silver is an obvious starting point in the race. If you're looking for backup, the ever consistent number 2 DJ Junior I think is a reliable piece of backup. 2 Miles West ran in a race probably 2 divisions stronger than this during the week and ran a place. Erico Verdenese's stats are always totally underappreciated, always training at a high win place rate for the lack of support that he gets. Just as consistency likely to give you a run for your money. So I think number 2 DJ Junior is worth including. If you're looking for one other, it would be the other Verdenese horse, number 3 Diesel Shadow, but I'm definitely leaning towards number 2 DJ Junior over the stable companion. In fact, interestingly enough, they're full brothers.
So there we go. That's race 5, the first of the 2 apprentice races. The second apprentice race is indeed race 6, which is the first leg of the final pick 3. It's an MR76 handicap over 1,400 meters. So as you heard there from Alistair, the first leg of the apprentice handicap double, quite tricky, but he's narrowed that down to 2 runners. Gone slightly wider here in race 6 over 1,400 meters. Number 1, Shinto Shrine, is at 5-1. Number 2, Paul Revere at 22-10. Joint favourite with number 3, Great Notion at 22-10. 4, King of Numbers, who appears on the front page of the computer form, that's at 5-1. 7, Sail the Sky, is at 6-1, and there's a form update also for number 7, Sail the Sky. Ran 6th in that race behind Eiffel Tower, was beaten 5 3/4 lengths, so not a bad effort. We'll have to see whether he stands his ground just a couple of days later. At the time of recording, certainly not yet taken out, so monitor the scratchings and other changes between now, Friday morning, when we record, and the start of race 1. But here we go. Alistair, it's an apprentice handicap. It's 1,400 metres, smallish field, 8 runners, but it does look competitive.
Graham, if Paul Revere hasn't taken too much out of himself after his run just a week ago, he'll win. I'm prepared to nail that. I'll tell you why. He ran with horses rated 113, 114 and 109, finished in and around them. Therefore, he ran well above his rating. There's also a valid fitness edge with the lack of work that trainers have been able to do in Joburg since the end of March. So I think a fit horse is a dangerous horse. I think this race is probably more to his liking in terms of the conditions, having run in a graduation last time where he lost very little in defeat, being beaten 3.5 lengths behind Royal Force. He finished in front of horses that are placed at grade 1 level. If that just hasn't taken the wind out of his sail, number 2, Paul Revere will win. James de Harbour takes the ride, which he obviously being last season's champion apprentice, is got to be worth something. If you're looking past him, and if you're a little bit uneasy about that, which I must confess I am, then I think it opens it up for 3 other horses. 1, 4 and 7 make up as backup. Number 1, Shinto Shrine, first run is a gelding, very dangerous. I've been impressed with Elysium Buto. I think he's very strong. He might not be he's not going to be the best judge of pace yet. He's only had about 50 rides, but he is super strong in a finish as young Mbuto. He's well ahead of the curve with his 4-kilo claim, and I think once the pace judgment comes in, I think he could be a very nice rider in the making. He's run to quite strong opposition, certainly horses that would fit in favourably in a race like this if he doesn't need the run too badly. Yards bang in form. There's a strong case to be made for number 1, Shinto Shrine. He was quite an aggressive horse early doors, but if the gelding does have the desired effect, he could be very interesting. Number 4, King of Numbers under JC Boerters for Brett Weber. Consistent horse, ran to press on regardless. Last time out, press on regardless. Obviously runs a race later, and I'll make him the horse to beat. We'll talk about that in due course, but that was against a little bit stronger. Press on regardless in the race, prior to that, obviously ran to a much higher rating, so they could be a little bit in hand for number 4, King of Numbers. And then number 7, Sail the Sky. It wouldn't be the Chris Yonker way to run away. Garish Duca takes a ride. He's just consistent at the moment, number 7, Sail the Sky. So it's not right to knock him, especially with 50.5 kilos on the back. So I've tossed him into the play as well. 1, 2, 4 and 7, Graham, the numbers, very comfortable with him.
Why have you brassed number 3, Great Notion?
I don't like her form lines, Graham. She beat Green Street 3 runs back. Green Street is still languishing as a maiden. Last time, not a bad run behind Sonic Jet, but Sonic Jet also fluffed her lines during the week. I know there has been a direct winner from that form line in the form of Oxalis Gold, who won a minor feature, but I'm just, and also the fact that Great Notion was giving her 7 kilos, she might have got away with one on that occasion. Just not mad about her form lines, Graham.
So there we go. 1, 2, 4 and 7 for Alistair in race 6. Those were his inclusions in that leg of the pick 6. 2 to go. It's an 8-race card. Race 7, first leg of the final double. We're out of the apprentice handicaps, back with the professional jockeys. MR93 handicap over 1,400 meters. Number 1, Choisinada, is at 8-1. 4 Night Bomber at 7-2. 8 Press on Regardless, easy winner of its last start at 7-2. And 11 Corrupt. I'm really looking forward to seeing Corrupt run. I hope he doesn't get scratched again. He has been scratched on a number of occasions. He's only had the 2 starts, one of which was a winning debut. But this may not be the race that sets up perfectly for number 11 Corrupt. But for me, He was one of the outstanding yearlings of his time. So here we go, race 7, Alistair, 1,400 metres. You've gone principally with 2 runners, 4 Night Bomber and 8 Press On Regardless.
Just before we talk about those two, Graham, there's one horse that I want to give an honourable mention to in this race. I don't think he'll win because I think he'll need the run, but I think the horse that's worth watching coming out of this is number 2, Mastership. I think pound for pound he's the best horse in the race, and it wouldn't surprise me to see him rated 100 plus by the end of the season. Might be coming a little bit too soon, but certainly by the end of the year, I think he's got capabilities of potentially sneaking into some sort of minor features over the next few months. But anyway, not today, but watch for him sort of staying on. Might be the right type of ride for Stratham as well. Watch for him staying on for a top 4 finish at a reasonable price of around 14 to 1. But 4 and 8 my numbers. 8 Press On Regardless, undoubtedly the horse they all need to beat. He sauntered in last time. He was never in doubt. Diego never had to touch him. He won hands and heels. Beating King of Numbers, who obviously runs a race earlier. I know that there hasn't been too much from the form line that really excites, but he won with so much in hand. His penultimate start is the key race, though, Graham, because finished behind Hotter Ruby. Hotter Ruby's competed at grade 1 level, rated 112. Finished in front of the Africa House, Calantha, all horses that have done okay but haven't ripped up any trees. Finished in front of Gimme Another Chance, has been a bit disappointing, but a horse who ran 6 lengths behind Press On Regardless, French Bolt, won a hotly competitive race subsequently. So out of that graduation plate, there have been some fireworks on that run. Press On Regardless has got plenty in hand from the handicapper. I know he got £8, which sounds like a lot. It was probably deserving considering he won by 3.5 lengths. I think he's still got another win or two in the tank before the handicapper catches up to him if he stays on this route of handicaps. If he does come unstuck, number 4 Night Bomber, my idea of the horse who can give him the most trouble. Baron Burtis and Muzi Yeni team up. Been a bit of a sucker for this horse. Been suckered in the last twice anyway. He came to Joburg from a deep draw on the Vaal Classic track, beat Fastnet Philly. Whenever you see feature race entries, Fastnet Philly seems to be there for a lowly rating, taking on horses or nominated against horses rated in the 100 teens, but still maybe that's a signal of intent. Form to Tanango, who I think is a live runner on Monday in the grade 3 Champagne Stakes. I think his 2 runs he hasn't won, haven't been all that bad. Pomodoro's Jet is set for some feature races apparently during KZN's champion season, so nothing wrong with his last run as well. And this could be sort of a happy place as far as course distance, jockey and everything else is concerned. So I'm loath to leave about number 4 Night Bomber because I'm convinced he's going to visit the winners' enclosures sooner rather than later.
Time to move on then to the 8th and final. It goes at 16:45. It's an MR94 handicap. It's over the minimum trip of 1,000 metres. Those in the betting include number 1 Master Casper at 7 to 1. Number 2 Don't Shoot the Barman, 8 to 1. 5 Address the Nation, 8 to 1. Number 8 Warm Winter Night is 3 to 1. Top of the boards is number 9 Bourbon Reserve at 22 to 10. Those are the ones quoted in single figures. Tricky end to a nice day's racing.
Yeah, very much so, Graham. I'm surprised Warm Winter Night is that short in my market. I must confess he's not for me in the race, but I don't particularly like Roll With The Punches, and Roll With The Punches on the 19th of December has got him absolutely stone cold. So that's my reading there with Warm Winter Night. Plus he's so up in class. He's gone from beating Captain Efficient to running against some sprinters that haven't been too far off. Much better opposition. Anyway, 1, 2, 5 and 9, my pick 6 inclusions here, which bar Warm Winter Night, so probably no shock to anyone. I want to start with Candice's running number 5 at Destination. Candice is a little bit perturbed about the yard at the moment. The rain has really taken the wind out of her sails, but she's convinced things are going to come right now. Last start over 1,200 metres was worth the experience, showed a lot of pace, didn't quite go on with it. On a quicker track might be more effective, but for now, back to basics, back to 1,000. He won his penultimate start in the boardroom getting the better of Kinshin Shah, but all said and done, a nice little 1,000-metre horse. He's a fun horse, and he seems to be doing nicely at home, so I can't put anyone off if you like him, despite the competitive nature of the race. Number 1 Master Casper, I think, is a useful horse. Last run disappointing, nothing was detected, but has been off 112 days, so it might suggest Johan Janse van Vuren found something in the washing. that run to Almansea over this course and distance in July does stand out as a run that's definitely good enough to win a race of this nature. So if he doesn't need the run too badly, the half-brother to Master Archie, he ought to be there. Number 2, Don't Shoot the Barman, much like Rosie Lemon earlier on, was caught to run about 10 days ago at a meeting that didn't take place. I was so keen on his chances. Sadly, we didn't get there. In the Tommy Hotspur, which is now the JJ, the Jet Plane Stakes, he was drawn on the wrong side of the track. It might look disappointing, but he's definitely nowhere near the level of William Robertson, whether he's receiving 12 kilograms or not. He's a dangerous horse at a race of this level. Number 2, Don't Shoot the Barman. So I'm not prepared to leave him out, although I would prefer a higher number draw. And then number 9, Bourbon Reserve. He's got a lot to come. Might have been a little bit underwhelming last time over Yamadori, but he's low mileage, and he's definitely the horse that has got more scope than anyone else in the race. So 1, 2, 5, and 9, the numbers for me.
Pressed into a corner. Best of those 4?
I'll take a fly on Don't Shoot the Barman, actually, Graham.
I'm interested that you said that, because obviously if you go back to the form of the 15th of February, when you look at the fact that Bourbon Reserve is 22-10 favourite, ran 4th in that very same race behind Yamadori, and in fact Don't Shoot the Barman was ahead of him. So if Bourbon Reserve is entitled to be favourite, well then certainly number 2, Don't Shoot the Barman, is entitled, notwithstanding that last run in much better company. Don't Shoot the Barman looks crazily overpriced at around 8-1 compared with Bourbon Reserve's current position in the market. Now, as we've said throughout the show, Alistair's bet of choice is the pick 6. So, Alistair, take it away.
Yep, 8 race card, Easter Saturday, so a little bit of time to, like I said, engage yourself and figure out what you like. So 10 to 2 is when pick 6s need to be on by. 1, 2, and 5 in the first leg, read all about it, Crystal Grove and Sister Golden Hair. By 1, 2, 6, 8, and 9 to the rescue, Romeo's Magic, Rosie Lemon, Moment, and Nuclear Force. By 2 and 4, DJ Junior and Dark Silver. That might be the race where punters might swerve me. By 1, 2, 4, and 7, Shinto Shrine, Paul Revere, King of Numbers, and Sail the Sky. By 4 and 8, Night Bomber and Press On Regardless, and then final leg 1, 2, 5, and 9.
Well, that's just about it for this Gallop TV preview show for the race meeting at Turffontein on Saturday the 19th of April. The first of 8 races off at 12:40. Just time to wish you all again a very happy Easter weekend with your family, and that includes you, Alistair. Regards to Candice and the dogs and the rest of your large family. We trust the racing does you well over the weekend, but enjoy the family time as well. Good to be with you all.
Yep, thanks so much. Same to you, Graham. Same to Babette and the rest of your family and all your loved ones and everyone in racing. I mean, we all gather around. We love the sport. We compete every day because we think we know what's going on. But yeah, keep the faith in the game. Things are going from strength to strength, and it's a wonderful time to be a racing fan. So let's hope that the results go favourably for us, and that we have a good few months to remember.
Thanks, Alistair. We bid you farewell and look forward to all of the racing action over the Easter weekend.